Okay, please find a comfortable posture. Gently close your eyes. How do you feel right now? Your body, your mind. Are you comfortable here? Make sure your posture is comfortable. Maybe you have so many worries, things to consider, trying to figuring out what happened yesterday, worrying about future. But in this moment, try to be in the present, this moment, right now, right here in this beautiful place. Think to yourself, this is my time. Now take few deep, long breaths and relax your whole body. Please do it few times. Now send your loving thoughts towards yourself. I am well. I am happy. I am peaceful. When you say those 3 words to yourself, sometimes you don't see love towards yourself. Maybe you are angry with yourself. Maybe you are disappointed. In this moment, ask yourself, why? Why I am angry? Why I am disappointed? What is the cause? What is the root of my anger, my disappointment? Then ask yourself a question, when I am angry with myself, is there any benefit for me? Physical benefit or mental benefit? Or is there any harm? When you are angry or disappointed, do you feel joyful? Maybe not, for sure. If there is no benefit for you, what is the purpose? Feel this way. If there is no benefit to yourself or the world, it's like garbage. We have to handle the garbage carefully and lovingly. Let go and repeat to yourself, I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. What I learned practicing self-love, there are so many benefits for my own life, to find peace in my mind, find contentment. Easily I can let things go. Then I can accept things as they are. Then I understand the nature of life, which is impermanence. So many good things are happening while we are focusing on self-love. If you truly, deeply understand the concept, I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. Now send your loving thoughts towards your family. May all of my family members be well, be happy, be peaceful. Think of them individually by names. Some are here in this world, some are not. It doesn't matter, still you can practice loving kindness, even departed one. Why? Still we have some memories. Those memories are related to disappointment, anger, my parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, children, husband, wife, ex-wife or husband. May all of them be well, be happy, be peaceful. We all are brothers and sisters in one large family. Now send your loving thoughts towards whole world. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. So much pain, so much misery in the world right now. This country and other countries. Now like India, because of COVID, so many people are losing their lives. They are crying for oxygen. We can make some difference, creating loving, soothing, healing energy in our mind. We can spread those good thoughts around the globe. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. Mind power is so amazing effect to the world. Now slowly turn your attention to your subtle sensation of the breath. Every breath you take in, you take out is taken mindfully. Focus on your natural, ordinary breaths. No need to repress your thoughts. No need to control your thoughts. Controlling your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings is not meditation. If you want, you can do it, but remember, it is temporary. Instead of controlling them, better to let them be. Understand the nature of them, why they are happening, why they are bothering to me. Certain things you don't like to see. Be a silent observer, observing what is coming, what is going. You are standing tall, looking at them, watching them, smiling to them without making judgment, or you can make judgment but without condemning them. Breath is your anchor, keep everything together. Be still. Be an observer. Rehearse your mind. Please bring it back to the breath, present moment. Now observe your mind, observe your body. Your body is relaxed, your mind is calm, tranquil and peaceful. Now bring your palms together close to your heart. Make a wish for yourself. This is the good time, good place for you to start new day, new journey, new birth. Make that determination. I am going to meditate every day 2 minutes. May peace be with you. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. Thank you very much. Please open your eyes. Okay. Ready? Happy to see you all. Today is May 1st. So in the Buddhist cultures, we call this month is celebrating of Buddha's life. So this month, all special events of Buddha's life happen month of May. His birth, his enlightenment, his passing. All those three events happen in the same month according to the history. According to the history, I don't know. Okay? So therefore, all the Buddhist countries, Buddhist people celebrating Buddha's life in this month usually is a very busy month for us other years, because we are getting ready for the celebration and the parade and all those things happening at the temple this month. So because of the situation right now happening around the world, I made the decision even this year not to do those big events. So safety is first. So then I discussed with our monastics, and we decided last 20 years we gave so many Dharma talks, different titles, different guest speakers, but very rarely we talk about Buddha's real life. How about this month, let's talk about Buddha's life story. It is a great, amazing story he has. We know here and there a little bit about his life, but in detail, so many people don't know about his life. So, today my job is not talking about his life. Coming few weeks, different guest monks, they are going to talk about Buddha's life coming 3 weeks and different stage. So today, what I am going to talk about, like an introduction about the Buddha's life. Happiness is the rising of the Buddha is in the world. That's what I have to talk. I don't know what I'm going to say. That's me, anyway. So we'll see what will come. Okay? So when we think about life, now think about every day as living, what we are doing, solving problems. Most of us, every day as living, that's what I do. I don't know what you do. You ask yourself, as living, what I am doing, solving the problems. Problems about myself, my personal life, and problems about my family. Right? My father passed away 2 weeks ago. Now when he was alive, I had the different problems. Now he's gone. I have totally another set of problems now. So every day, what I'm doing as a monk, as a human being, as a leader, as a spiritual worker, and always what I'm doing, solving problems. My problems I'm solving, and also looking for the answers for other people's problems. That's my job. What is your job now? What you are doing in the world? You are doing the same thing? Every day? Right? It's very common to all of us. What we are doing, we call living. That means we are looking, searching for the answers all the time. That's what I was thinking. So, now think about, we have problems, we are looking for answers, then we have different answers. When we have answers, some answers are very good, solve the problem. Some answers temporarily solve the problems. Some answers never solve the problems. So however, we every day keep doing this stupid thing again and again and again and again. Actually, very sorry to use that word. Without using that word, you don't get it. What we are doing is doing the same thing every single day. We all human world, we are doing the same thing. So, now when we are looking for these answers, then we get into the science. Then we were believing science will solve the problems. Do you think science solves all our problems? What do you think? No. But science gave us tremendous support to do things in our lives. Doctors, all the surgeries and all those things. Then some people thinking, the solving of problems, if we have more lands in the world, our problem is solved. This country is not big enough for us. Then we have to make this country bigger. Then what we do, solving the problem, we go and fight for other countries. Some people do that. Some people think one house is not enough for me, I need 2 houses. House in Chicago not enough for me, I need a house in Arizona. Then I solved my problem. 1 car is not enough for me, I have to have 2 cars. Then I can solve my problem. Then you have another 10 problems. Then you have to manage 2 cars. Pay the 2 bills. So the solving the problem means another way, what you are doing? Getting more problems into your life. I think that's what I am doing most of the time. So how do you feel doing it every single day? I am tired. I can talk about myself. You decide yourself today, okay? I am tired. So especially these days, right after my father passed away, I am dealing with my family. So every hour, every day, evening, morning, they call me. How about this? How about that? What to do with this? What to do with that? Yesterday I talked almost 1 hour with my sister. We had little arguments too. Right? We are not angry, but little word playing back and forth. But I don't want it. I don't want to do that. But it is part of my life now. So then that's what we are doing. I think you are doing the same thing. Now, many people think when they're looking at me, oh, Bhante doesn't have any problem. He's enlightened. That's what many people think. But I am telling you the truth, honestly, I am not. I am dealing with the same problems what you are dealing in the world. There is no any difference. Okay? So, when Buddha was born into that time in India, we call Prince Siddhartha, Gautama. That's his name. Buddha is not his name. Indian culture, the nature of the world, those problems exist that time too. But he was born into very wealthy royal family. So we are thinking when we are wealthy, we have money, no problems. That's what many people think. I have more money, I am fine. But when we have more things, we have more problems. So then we all know how he used to live. I'm not going to talk about his life, but I want to say a few things. He had a very comfortable, fancy life. Now his father built 3 palaces for him, for different seasons. If he has winter, he go to the next palace. Then it's heated. So then now what we are doing here is cold here. Then we go to Arizona. We have different places here in this country to go. What they did, he didn't go to the different places. What father did, King Father, he built the 3 palaces for him to live. Then he had a really good life. Happy, joyful life. I call his life was very luxurious experience for him. Every night he has a party at the palace, drinking parties. Way I can say it like in Western words, he used to live like a playboy. All the girls and, party night, every night. So, when monks talking about his life, they will tell you more about it. So, then father was thinking, if he has all those things, his life is fun and joyful and entertaining. He will run the kingdom and become a king later in his days, and he will do a good job. That's what father was thinking, solve the problems. But it didn't work that way. As by, what happened? One day, the way I see it, he sneaked out from the palace. These days I am thinking all the stories I know about the Buddha's life and what happened during his time, lots of sad stories there. About Buddhist nuns, about the Buddhist monks, how they come to the order, what is the purpose. There's a lots of sad, difficult stories. Now these days, I try to cut those things to watch because I want to update every day what is happening in the world because I'm in the world. I was watching what is happening right now in India. So many people in India. So many. So now I saw a mother holding a baby, running in the street, going to place and the hospital to hospital, holding the baby, asking oxygen for the baby. Then other story I saw in front of the hospital, mother holding the baby, in front of the doors of the hospital, baby is dying. Those are few stories. Maybe if you watch it, it is really sad. It's really sad. I become very emotional. Finally, I was thinking, these things happened during the Buddha's lifetime too, those stories. Now I totally 100% believing those stories. Sometimes I couldn't believe those stories. Now I do. Why? Right now, that is what is happening in India. So, after Prince Siddhartha sneak out from the palace, he go to the real Indian society. The palace is a totally different story. What he saw? Problems. What are the biggest problems we have? What are the biggest problems we have? What are the biggest problems we have? We get sick. Is it a problem? When you get sick, you feel, I have a problem? Yes. Do you like it? No. It is one of the biggest problem. Getting old? Yes. For me, yes. When I have pain and ache, I don't like it. Last night I was sleeping. I was walking yesterday evening like 7-8 miles. Last night while I was sleeping, I felt like a back. It's not really good. I don't like it. Why? It is so painful. I don't like, it's really affecting to my sleep. Now, body is getting old, deteriorating. It is a problem. Then sick, getting old. Then one day we are getting ready to die. Is it fun? When you are seeing other people are dying, is it fun for you? No, it is so painful. Those are the biggest problems we have. Because of those things, all other problems exist. Now, if we have a problem, what we are doing now? Looking for the answers. Now, Siddhartha, who left the palace, experienced all those human problems in the world, he was questioning how smart he was. He was questioning. Now, modern day, what we are doing, when we see those things, still people are looking for the answers to live forever. Still we are looking for answers, no wrinkles in our body. In the science, we put all the different lotion and cream and trying to put, avoid that. But more we try, more problems we get. But I am not asking you not to do that. If you want to do it, please do it. Think about many people, they color their hair. I don't have that problem, I think. And so color their hair. When I was in Sri Lanka one time, my mother has she's 78 years old. She has a very long hair to her knee. She's so attached to it. But all gray. Right? All gray. Like an angel. When she has a long hair after shower, she's walking like an angel. And then one day I said to my mom as a joke, Mom, how about let's color your hair? Then she asked me, are you a Buddhist monk or not? I know I made the joke, but I want to see her reaction. Then I said, yes, I am right. And then she said, if you are a Buddhist monk, you have to know this. The hair get gray. There is no solution for that permanent. She doesn't want to do it. Still she has long hair, all gray, she likes it. She's totally fine there. So why we are doing it, we think if we have gray hair, it is not look good. We have some idea in our head. So then we are coloring it. If you are doing it, please keep doing it. I'm not asking you to stop, you feel embarrassed what we are doing, but at the same time, please understand, it is not the permanent solution. It is not the permanent solution for the problems. But keep doing it. That's what maybe 10 years ago, I will say, what are you doing? Are you crazy? That's what I say. But I don't say it anymore because I have different perspective about it. People can do those things, but we have to have awareness of what is exactly happening in our lives. So, Siddhartha, he saw those things too. All the human problems. Getting sick, getting old and dying. Then he was thinking, this is the problem. If this is the problem, there should be an answer. Problem never exists without an answer. So, then he was thinking, what is the answer? Then he was thinking, I am going to find the answer for these big problems. That is the purpose he left the palace. So when you have now think about when you have those problems, little problems come to your mind, how many people Google meditation? How many people Google Buddhist teaching? I can see, even we are wearing a mask, I can see you are smiling. I know we all did it. How many people looking for the Googling, then you found the Blue Lotus Temple. Why did you come to the Blue Lotus Temple? Just doing a dance or party? That is the purpose you come to the Blue Lotus Temple? No. You know you have a problem. You know you have some mental problem. You know because of your physical problem is affecting your mentalities, and so then you need some answers. Then people come to me and say, I have lots of pain, how I am going to manage it? I have this crazy mind, how I am going to manage it? Why you come to the temple looking for answers? What exactly Prince Siddhartha did. So then he left the palace. So after he left the palace, that time in India, what people are believing for the salvation, giving self-denial, giving hard time to this physical body, then we call the tapa. Tapa means giving the heat to this body, and what is the word? Pain to this body. Then I can eliminate my pain, my suffering. That's what Indian culture that time people were believing. They didn't eat right. They didn't drink enough water, giving so much pain to this body. Intention is eliminate pain, eliminate suffering. Buddha did Siddhartha did 6 years. Almost dying. Almost dying. Last minute, he realized it is too extreme. Then he gave up that extreme. Then he was thinking, when I was in the palace, I was in one extreme, I express. Being in the palace, being like a playboy, what he did? He expressed. When you're having all those things, what people are doing? Expressing. I can see this culture too. Always expressing. Then he realized that's another extreme. Now being in the forest and giving all the hard stuff to the body, what I am doing? Suppressing. That's another extreme. So if you are in an extreme, life is painful, of course. Therefore, I had to find the middle ground. I call the holy ground. If I can find the middle path, then I can do something. Then, however, the way he was thinking, way he was doing things, he was attaining the enlightenment we call the Supreme Buddha. We call his enlightenment not just enlightenment. We call his enlightenment supreme enlightenment. Okay. Now you have some ideas. Now think about, tell me, I don't know all the right information. To become a doctor, how many years you have to study? Usually, tell me if you know. 7, right? Go to the college 4 years, then after that, residency and all those things, 6-7 years has to study to become a doctor. It's a big deal, right? Become a nurse, 2-4 years. Become a massage therapist, maybe 2 years. Become a yoga teacher? Yeah, some hours, right? That means different profession, we have to spend some time for training. So, sometime after you graduated from the college, even all the theories and things, people are not hiring you to work. Before they hire, they check how many experiences you have. Because otherwise, doctors will kill the people. So then they are sending more training programs. Then not just one-time training program, annually they are doing the training programs, right? Some people has to go annual training programs. Why? In that job, they have to be really good. Otherwise, people are in trouble. So, if I ask you now, I'm asking Alison, my friend Alison from Las Vegas, she's here so to surprise me, thank you. And I'm asking, Alison, please go out from this door, please find the rock, little rock, and give it to me. Can you do that? Yes, you can. Is it easy? It's easy. Then I'm asking somebody else, I'm asking you, please go outside, please bring me a diamond. Not in a few days. Right now, please go outside, pick me a diamond from outside from the garden, bring it to me. Can you do that? No. Why? There is no diamonds in the garden. But little rocks, always you can find. Very easy. Everywhere. Maybe you can bring a whole truckload of rocks. Because in front of temple anyway. Right? So, but if I ask somebody to bring a diamond, nobody cannot bring a diamond. Why is that? Why you cannot find the diamond? Rare. The way diamonds happening in the earth take time, millions of years sometimes. And also find a diamond, we have to dig into the earth, losing their life, killing each other. That's how people are finding diamond, right? You have seen all the documentaries, how people are dying. We are wearing, it's so fancy, so beautiful. So many people lost their lives because of the diamonds. So that means finding diamond or gems are very difficult to find, very rare. Now we are talking about the Buddha, this guy. So we have a news, we heard almost 3,000 years ago, there was a Buddha, northeast India, that part of India, Prince Siddhartha, the man who became a Buddha, almost 3,000 years ago. I never seen him, you never seen him, we have a news. On that news, on that journey, we are here right now, sitting in front of this big statue. Now think about 3,000 years ago, there was a man called the Buddha. But in between that 3,000 years, there was no Buddhas. But some people claim I am a Buddha. But I don't believe it. Why? Finding the Buddha is so rare. It's a rare thing. Now as I said, become a doctor, 7 years. He has to go to the school and do the training. Become a nurse, some years. Now, to become a Buddha, how many years? Become a Buddha, okay? Not become an enlightened human being. Become a Buddha. Do you know how many years did he went to school? Huh? No. Lifetime, no. Eons. What is right? Because that's the word, right? Eons. You know, if you heard the word eons. The way I saw it, eons means 1 billion years. So that means so many he went to the school. Now I am using this modern word to become a Buddha. Are you ready to do that? So one lifetime, according to his previous life, he say, one lifetime he can attain to the enlightenment. That means he can do his own salvation attaining to the enlightenment. He had that opportunity, one lifetime. About his life, you can see those things. But that moment he was thinking, if I do it, I'm doing it just for me. But there are so many people in the world, they are in pain and suffering. They don't have help. If I become a Buddha, Supreme Enlightened One, I can help thousands of millions of people in the world. So therefore, he get into that sansaric journey, dying and life and death again, and go billions of years in that training and pain and suffering he did. Finally, he attained the enlightenment. So therefore, I'm always telling people, don't pray to the Buddha. That's not the purpose of the Buddha's life. Why you are praying? Many Buddhist people do that too. Because they don't know the value, the purpose, the training. He's asking, please Buddha give me $10,000. I'm praying to you. Please Buddha give me the health. Buddha never do those things. So you are asking something temporary from the Buddha. He cannot do this. Now every morning I will come here and light the candle and pray to the Buddha. Buddha, I am traveling to Sri Lanka. I don't want to get COVID. Please protect me. Buddha cannot do that. I know that. Therefore I don't ask him those things. So then I will ask Buddha, please, I pray to you, give me good health. Buddha cannot do that. That is not the purpose of the Buddha. The purpose of the Buddha, those biggest problems we have in our life, he was looking for those answers, for those big problems in the world. That's why, that is the purpose, he became a Buddha. Do you think this is a simple job? It is not a simple job. That's why we don't have many Buddhas. Why? In human history, one human being, very difficult to make that commitment. Now I am asking you this. After this meditation, I want to clean the temple. I am asking you all, don't go. Don't go after meditation. All day, I don't give you any food. You all have to clean the whole temple. I'm asking you. Can you do that? No. I know you cannot do that. It is so stupid thing to ask even. I don't want to ask. If I ask, you don't want to do it. So you cannot, then you can say, oh my God, I had to do the babysitting, I had to go. Oh, my husband is sick, I had to go and taking care of him. I have this problem, I had to go. But you made this 1 hour to come to the temple and do things. That's great. Now that means we are so engaged. We are so attached to things. You are so attached to people. You are so attached to all the material things. Now think about the day Prince Siddhartha left his palace. The day the baby was born, the son. People can say, he's a terrible father. Now think about the day Siddhartha left, the day the baby was born, Prince Rahula. Then according to the American culture, he's a terrible father. If some father leave the child the day he was born and no, I'm not responsible, he are definitely going to sue that father. That's your culture. But, the beautiful wife, princess, he left. As a father, he is telling later of the years, that day when I am leaving, I want to hug and kiss my baby. But he was thinking, if I do that, she will wake up, princess will wake up, I cannot leave. Then he controlled his emotions. He left those feelings in front of the door, and he left the wife, palace, son, and everybody. That moment he made the great wish. Nobody cannot do it in their lives. I am leaving my son today. My newborn today, just born, my son I am leaving. My beautiful wife, princess, I am leaving her. I am leaving my dear, beautiful son, just born today. I am leaving because of all the sons in the world. Who can do that kind of sacrifice? I am leaving my son today, but I am leaving for all the sons in the world. I am leaving my wife today, but I am leaving for all the wives in the world. I am leaving my parents today, but I am leaving all the parents. We call that leaving great renunciation. We call the great renunciation. I think he is the only person, human history, left his material, physical world, name of the world. Now we are talking about him. Think about the impact of that Buddha mind. Now we are talking about him today in this place after 3,000 years of his death. Now think about right now, how many millions of people in the world, name of him finding peace. That is the power of the becoming a Buddha. Maybe another millions of, maybe another 2,000, 3,000 years, this teaching, this power still continue in this world. According to the historical evidence, it says another 2,500 years. This power, Buddha power, still continue in this world. Another 2,500. So, according to historical evidence, the Buddha said, 5,000 years, my teaching will exist in the world. Now half is done. We are believing another 2,500 years, this teaching will continue for the benefit for the world. So that means you are lucky. We call the Dharma wheel. We call the Dharma wheel. Now imagine a wheel. What is the purpose of the wheel? Spin. Into the enlightenment, what he did? He spun the Dharma wheel. Now it's spinning. Now still in this moment at the Blue Lotus Temple, this Dharma wheel is spinning. How beautiful it is. That's why I'm talking to you. Why? Inside me, Dharma wheel is a spinning. Inside you, that wheel is spinning. That's why you are here. Somewhere people who practice meditation in the world, name of him, that Dharma wheel is spinning. Now this Dharma wheel is keep spinning, and the moment he roll it, like spin it, it was very fast. Now 3,000 years later, what is happening now? When somebody spin the wheel, that moment is very fast. Why? It's the beginning. Now 3,000 years later, it's become very slow. Now it's getting slow down. Now, but still spinning. Now keep going, another 2,500 years. Then finally what happened? Spinning and doing like this in one place, then flat. Dharma wheel is flat now. It's not spinning anymore. Then what will happen? Now people don't have that good attitudes, good focus. That means all the dust, all the leaves, debris and everything falling into, that's how I see it, falling into that wheel, it will cover. But Dharma disappeared. People are acting like beast. No energy, no good vibration, no concentration, no meditation. That is a kind of end of the world. So then that whole dharma is covered with, the truth is hidden now. Okay. Now, then one day, another Buddha will come to the world. Another man making that commitment and sacrifice come to the world. He is not finding something new. What he is doing, whatever hidden that dharma will, he clean it. Then he see the beauty of that. He had that realization. He start to spin it again. Then what Buddha said, I didn't find something new. I show the people whatever exists. That's what Buddha said. So Buddha said, I didn't, find something new. All other Buddhas who discover something, it was hidden. Every Buddha who come to the world, they find that dharma wheel, they will spin for the benefit for the world. Now think about, if one human being can change their mind for good, but thousands of millions of people in the world get benefits. So, the Buddha will come to the world when enlightenment is not exist in this world. That is the time Buddha will come to the world. People can be enlightened. So, who can be enlightened? After Buddha become a Buddha, then other people can enlighten. Otherwise, no enlightenment is there. Why? Somebody has to discover. Somebody has to discover it. That's why we call his Buddhahood, his enlightenment, we call the Samma Sambuddha. Complete enlightenment. It doesn't mean others are not complete, because he has special powers, special skills, special energies. Why? His training is bigger than my training. Now we have MDs, doctors. Some doctors, they are MD, but they have special areas. They study more to go to those special areas. Now becoming a Buddha means he has to do more schooling. Therefore, are you ready to become a Buddha now? Can you make that commitment? I'm not asking you to make that commitment. But I'm asking you today, name of the Buddha, he did the hard work. He did the hard work, but still, beauty of this path, beauty of this teaching, Dharma exists. Dharma exists. This morning, one of my brother monks, called me, and he was asking, "How are you doing? My father passed away. I said, right now I'm really good." So because I'm very senior among our monks community, and always they are calling me, looking for advices and consultation, and all those things they are calling. So then they always call here. They believe the Blue Lotus is going really well. I'm doing really well here. That's what they think. Yes, I am. And so they need that consultation, asking. Then one question he asked this morning, "You are going to run this temple every day and forever?" I said, "No." I said, "No, I'm going to die." I said, "I'm going to die too." Then he asked me, "Are you ready to let it go?" I said, "Already I did many years ago." Then he said, "No, still you are running it." Running it and letting go is totally two different things. This makes sense to you? Running the Blue Lotus and letting go the Blue Lotus is totally two different things. The day I let it go, this place, the day I open to the public. Like 7-8 years ago, right, Bhikkhuni? We opened the temple to public, this building, I think 10 years ago. So we opened this place, this building to the public like 10 years ago. That is the day I let it go. But still, I run this place. Why? I feel my contentment, my letting go, taking care of myself, name of that enlightenment of the Buddha, that is what important to me. That is what important to me. So, then he was laughing at me. Then he said, is something bad happen? Are you okay with that? For this building or this community? I said, I'm fine. Then I made the example. I said, tomorrow morning, all our 3 monks, all our monastic come to me and tell me, Bhante, we are tired to be with you and running the Blue Lotus temple. Tomorrow morning we are leaving this place. We are done. We are done at the temple. We are done the Blue Lotus temple. But we all 3 are leaving this temple. And also we talk to the Buddha about it. I'm just making the story. We talk to the Buddha about it. Buddha also coming with us. Buddha also coming with us. He also living with us. That means there's no Buddha anymore. Then I said to my brother monk this morning, even that will happen, I am fine. So that means, name of the Buddha, I made my decision how I am going to live my life. You can see what is the purpose of the birth of the Buddha? Not forever pain and suffering emotionally and going crazy, day and night always worrying about things and the people and the situation. That is not my practice. So therefore I am asking you, looking at the Buddha's life, the purpose of the Buddha's life, it is not the simple action. It is not a simple action become a Buddha. Therefore, don't lose this opportunity. Don't lose this opportunity. After 2,500, almost 3,000 years later, still these beautiful teachings exist in this world. So therefore, work hard, find enlightenment, find joy, find balance, enjoy your life. So that is the happiness of the birth of the Buddha. Any question, any thoughts? Now, next week, you will hear lots of historical stuff. Prepare for that. So I prepare your ground to understand the nature of the Buddha. Any question, any thoughts to share? How do you feel? Are you enlightened? How do you feel about it? Any question, any thoughts?
So you're saying there was no Buddha before the Buddha? But was there a concept in the culture of Buddha?
Actually, no.
There was a concept of a savior before there was Jesus. Was there a concept of a Buddha before?
Yeah. So the Buddha is not just one person. It's a whole concept is there. So before this Buddha, there was another few Buddhas. Then we are talking about the 28 Buddha. This Buddha got the confirmation, another 24 Buddhas before. So each Buddha, according to historical evidence, so they have to get the confirmation from the previous Buddha. So this Buddha got the confirmation about previous Buddha. So it's like a chain. So that means all the human beings, maybe you are the next Buddha. We don't know. So you are in the process. Maybe I am the one, maybe you are the one. So that means being all human beings, we have that powerful possibility to become a Buddha. Because I have so many things come to my mind to say, but there's no time. So somebody who's listening right now in front of me, maybe many billions of years later, you are the one of the Buddhas. Because of the sitting you are doing here today, this moment. This hour sitting will help you to become a Buddha one day. That means that energy exists in this universe. That's how I say in my words. Okay, that's a good question. Anything else? Okay, so that what I'm asking, please don't lose this opportunity coming few weeks and whole month. We are talking about the Buddha's life. It's a beautiful story though. A lot of things. Monks who are doing it, they are very academic background, they have a lot of information. They will share you the story and please come and listen to it. Then you have very good understanding about his life. I think it's very powerful. That's why I made the decision to talk about his life. Okay, Tessa, you are here? Okay. You have any announcements to make?
I do. Hi, good morning. How are you, Charlene? Good to see all of you.
I'm the manager here at the temple. Just wanted to let everybody know we have an exciting table over here that we set up with some lovely sale items. Everything's $5 under. Beefy, I know you love that. Little sale.
Mother's Day sales.
So we got that, and then coming up Wednesday the 5th, we're going to have a lovely chanting and blessing ceremony from 7 to 8 p.m. To kind of still honor this month, Vaisakha Day, the life of the Buddha. So it's just going to be an hour. Please feel free to bring any items of importance.
To bless.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful way to round out your evening. And then again, every Saturday from here on out, we're going to have a guest speaker from all over the world and the country talking about the life of the Buddha to honor him this month. And I think this will be your last Dhamma talk for a while.
Yes, then I'm leaving to Europe.
He's off. So
Yes, I'm off. Then I'm going to stay 3 months with my mother. So then I will come back end of August. Then I have a few other big events to do here and there. Okay? So until I come back, take care of yourself. Please come to the temple and listen to the Dharma and run the temple. Dharma will run it. Okay, so thank you so much. Please stand up.